The courtroom was packed when my older brother leaned back in his chair, smirked at me, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Prepare to be utterly shamed in front of everyone." A few people in the gallery turned to look at me. My parents didn't even try to hide their amusement. My mother laughed under her breath. My father shook his head with a satisfied smile. "We've waited years for this," he muttered. "She's finally going to learn her place." Across the room, my brother's expensive attorney adjusted his tie with absolute confidence. They all looked at me as if the verdict had already been written. I simply folded my hands together and remained silent. The judge glanced down at the documents before looking back at me. Then he asked a question no one in that courtroom expected. "Ms. Carter, before we continue, can you confirm for the record that you are also the sole trustee named in the original family trust established 12 years ago?" The room stopped breathing. My brother's smile disappeared instantly. My mother's eyes widened. My father's face turned ghost white. Even their attorney looked confused. "What?" my brother blurted. The judge calmly repeated the question. "Are you the sole trustee?" I answered quietly. "Yes, Your Honor." A pen slipped from someone's hand. The sound echoed through the silent courtroom. My brother slowly turned toward his lawyer. "What is he talking about?" The lawyer didn't answer. Because he couldn't. That was the moment everything changed. But that's not where this story began. 3 months earlier. Growing up, I was always the invisible daughter. My brother Ethan was the golden child. He received praise for average grades. I earned scholarships and was told not to show off. When Ethan crashed Dad's truck, I was blamed for distracting him. When I graduated at the top of my law school class, my parents skipped the ceremony because Ethan had a golf tournament. Their excuse? He's under more pressure. Eventually, I stopped expecting fairness. I built my own career as an estate attorney. I kept my head down, worked long hours, saved every dollar, never asked my parents for anything. Meanwhile, Ethan drifted from one failed business to another. Each time he failed, my parents wrote another check. Each time I succeeded, they acted as though it wasn't impressive. Then my grandmother passed away. She had always been different. She treated me like I mattered. She listened. She remembered birthdays. She told me something shortly before she died. "Not everyone who smiles at family deserves your loyalty." At the time, I didn't understand. Soon I would. After her funeral, my parents announced that Ethan would inherit the family estate because he needed it more. No one mentioned the legal paperwork. No one asked me any questions. They simply expected me to accept it. When I quietly requested a copy of the will, Ethan laughed. "Still trying to compete with me?" Dad crossed his arms. "Don't embarrass yourself." Mom added, "Grandma loved you, but Ethan has responsibilities." I simply nodded. Remember that detail. It matters later. A week later, Ethan filed a lawsuit accusing me of attempting to interfere with the estate. According to him, I was trying to steal property that wasn't mine. The accusation spread through the family like wildfire. Relatives stopped calling. Friends asked awkward questions. Even neighbors looked at me differently. Ethan loved every second of it. "You've always wanted attention," he sneered. "Now you've got it." I never argued, because I already knew something they didn't. Years earlier, Grandma had quietly asked me to help organize her legal records. She never trusted anyone else with them. At the time, I thought I was simply helping an elderly woman stay organized. In reality, she was preparing for exactly this moment. Nobody knew. Not my parents. Not Ethan. Not even their attorney. The lawsuit moved quickly. Each hearing became another opportunity for Ethan to humiliate me. He mocked my clothes. He mocked my apartment. He mocked my quiet personality. "You've always been jealous of successful people." Successful? He had never built anything himself. Everything he owned came from our parents. Still, everyone believed him. At least for now. That was their first mistake. Discovery began. Documents started changing hands. Ethan's lawyer confidently submitted what they claimed was Grandma's final estate plan. I looked at it once, then closed the folder, because something was missing. One page. Just one. Without it, their entire argument looked convincing. With it, everything collapsed. I said nothing. Weeks passed. The pressure kept growing. Relatives filled social media with comments calling me greedy. My parents happily shared those posts. Mom even wrote, "Some children will destroy a family for money." It hurt. Of course it did. But emotion wasn't my strategy. Patience was. Then Ethan made the mistake that destroyed him. He gave an interview to a local newspaper. He proudly declared that I had fabricated legal claims because I couldn't accept losing. He even displayed what he called the complete trust documents. Complete. That single word changed everything. Because they weren't complete. He had publicly certified an incomplete legal document. Nobody in that room knew the truth. The trial finally arrived. Ethan walked into court, smiling like a celebrity. My parents followed proudly. People whispered as I entered alone. Exactly as expected. Their attorney delivered an emotional speech about betrayal, about greed, about a daughter supposedly attacking her own family. Several jurors frowned. Everything was going according to their plan. Until the judge paused. He looked toward the court clerk, then toward me. Counsel, before proceeding. He adjusted his glasses. There appears to be an inconsistency regarding the original trust registration. Their attorney smiled confidently. There must be some clerical mistake. The judge didn't smile back. No. He held up another certified document. The original filing identifies Ms. Carter as sole trustee and successor fiduciary. Silence. Absolute silence. My brother blinked repeatedly. Their attorney quickly stood. "Your Honor, we've never seen that document." "I believe that," the judge replied. My attorney calmly handed over another folder. Inside were certified records from 12 years earlier. Every page, every signature, every amendment, including the missing page. Grandma had transferred control of the trust to me long before her death. Not ownership, control. She knew Ethan couldn't manage money. She knew my parents would pressure her. So she protected the estate legally. She left detailed instructions. The trustee, you, will determine distributions only to beneficiaries acting in good faith. Good faith. The courtroom erupted in whispers. My brother stared at me. "You knew?" "I did." "You let this happen?" "I let the truth arrive on its own." That was their final mistake. The judge's expression hardened as he reviewed additional evidence. Bank records, email chains, witness statements. Then came the worst revelation. Someone had deliberately removed pages from the copies submitted during litigation. The judge looked directly at Ethan. "Did you authorize these filings?" His confidence vanished. I trusted my lawyer." The lawyer immediately objected. "I relied on documents provided by my client." They turned on each other within seconds. Exactly as Grandma predicted. The judge ordered an investigation into the altered filings. Sanctions followed. The civil claim was dismissed with prejudice. The court awarded me legal costs. Then investigators uncovered something even worse. Money had quietly disappeared from estate accounts months before the trial. Transfers, unauthorized withdrawals, luxury purchases. Everything led back to Ethan. Within weeks, criminal charges followed. My parents tried to defend him publicly. No one believed them anymore. Their reputation collapsed alongside his. Relatives who had mocked me began apologizing. Some sent long messages explaining they had been misled. I accepted their apologies. But I didn't forget. As trustee, I followed Grandma's instructions exactly. Every legitimate beneficiary received what they were entitled to. Every transaction was transparent. Every decision documented. My parents received only what the trust legally required. Nothing more, nothing less. For the first time in my life, they couldn't manipulate the outcome. Months later, I visited Grandma's favorite garden. I placed fresh flowers beside the bench where we used to sit. She had once told me that the strongest revenge wasn't screaming. It was standing quietly while the truth spoke for itself. She was right. I never wanted to destroy my family. I simply refused to let them destroy me. As for Ethan, His business partners abandoned him. His friends disappeared. His name became associated with fraud instead of success. The same confidence that made him mock me became the reason everyone remembered his downfall. People still ask how I stayed so calm through everything. The answer is simple. When you know the truth is on your side, you don't have to shout. You just have to wait until everyone else catches up. Have you ever been underestimated by someone who had no idea who they were dealing with? Tell me your story in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more revenge stories every week.